Let's talk about what's happening inside your head right at this very moment. There's this incredibly powerful, unseen force that's really running the show. It's what decides if you hit the snooze button, it's what helps you focus at work, and, it's what stops you from saying completely the wrong thing at the wrong time. These are your executive functions, and today we're going to pull back the curtain on these cognitive skills that honestly run your entire life.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You've got this perfect plan. You've been so good all week, telling yourself, no sugar, no junk. And then, bam, a beautiful, delicious piece of chocolate cake shows up. And just like that, all that careful planning completely vanishes. What just happened there? Well, that little moment wasn't just a simple lack of willpower. What really happened is that your executive functions got temporarily overridden. The absolute best way to picture this system is to think of it as the air traffic controller for your brain. It's supposed to be managing all the thoughts, impulses, and actions flying around in there. In that moment with the cake, yeah, an unauthorized flight just landed without getting any clearance at all.
So you might be wondering, when does this high-tech control system actually need to step in? I mean, for most of our day, our brains are pretty much on autopilot. But there are these key moments that demand the full, undivided attention of the control tower. Psychologists Don Norman and Tim Challies actually pointed out 5 specific times when our automatic habits just won't cut it. Your controller is crucial for planning things, like mapping out a big project. It's for troubleshooting when, your computer freezes and you have to figure out what to do. You need it when you're learning something totally new, like a dance move. And of course, it kicks into high gear in dangerous situations. And most importantly, it's the thing you need to overcome a really strong habit, like, say, reaching for that piece of cake.
See, your brain is in this constant tug of war. On one side, you've got cognitive control, and on the other, stimulus control. Cognitive control is your internal, thoughtful guide. That's your diet plan. Stimulus control is that automatic, knee-jerk reaction to something in the world around you. That delicious cake practically yelling, "Eat me." Your executive functions? Well, they're the system that's supposed to make sure your thoughtful plan wins that fight.
Okay, so how does this air traffic controller actually pull it off? Well, it really boils down to 3 core skills. You can think of them as the big 3, based on a really influential model from researchers Miyake and Friedman. Let's break them down. First up, we've got inhibitory control. This is basically your mental brake pedal. It is the raw ability to stop yourself from acting on every single impulse or getting sidetracked by every distraction. In our metaphor, this is the controller holding planes on the tarmac, stopping them from all taking off at once and causing total chaos. It's the skill that says nope to the cake.
You want to see inhibitory control in action? There's this classic, kind of mind-bending psychology experiment called the Stroop test. You've probably seen this before, and if you've ever tried it, you know it is way harder than it looks.
Just look at the screen. Your brain is so incredibly good at reading. It's so automatic that your first impulse is to just read the word green. But the task is to say the color of the ink, which is red. To do that, you have to use your inhibitory control to actively slam the brakes on that powerful urge to read. You feel that little bit of mental friction, that little struggle? That's your executive function working overtime.
All right, the second core skill is working memory. Now, this is not just about remembering stuff. Think of it more like your brain's active mental workbench, or a computer's RAM. It's the controller's radar screen, where you're holding and juggling all the important info for whatever you're doing right now, tracking all the planes, their speeds, their destinations, all at once so you can make a good decision.
And number 3 is cognitive flexibility. This is your brain's ability to adapt on the fly, to think outside the box and to switch gears when the situation changes, right? If a huge storm suddenly pops up on the radar, the air traffic controller can't just stubbornly stick to the original flight plan. They got to be flexible, rerouting planes, changing runways. This skill is what lets you see a problem from a totally new angle or adjust when you get unexpected news.
Okay, so we've got this incredible air traffic control system, and it has these 3 amazing core skills. But where is all this happening? I mean, where in the brain is the actual control tower located? The main headquarters for your executive functions is the prefrontal cortex, or the PFC. It's that part of your brain right behind your forehead. Now, to be clear, it's not the only region involved, but it is, without a doubt, the main hub. It's the control tower that's orchestrating the whole operation. And if we look inside this control tower, different areas have really specialized jobs. You've got one part that acts like the main planning desk, handling working memory and reasoning. There's another bit that's like the conflict monitor. It's the alarm system that goes off when you see the word green printed in red.
And then a third part is in charge of impulse control, making sure our behavior is, appropriate in social situations. So here's something that's absolutely crucial to understand. You are not born with a fully built, fully functioning control tower. Not at all. These skills actually develop over a really long time, changing and getting stronger all throughout our lives. When we're little kids, we see this huge spurt in the basic skills, which is why games like Simon Says are so perfect for preschoolers. It's literally practice for inhibitory control. Then planning and flexibility really take off in those preteen years. Through the teenage years, the whole system gets more connected and way more efficient. And then our executive functions finally hit their absolute peak in our 20s. And yes, it's a normal part of life that as we get into later adulthood, a natural gradual decline often begins.
Look, understanding all this isn't just some neat piece of brain trivia. The strength of our inner air traffic controller has a massive, real-world impact on our health, our success, and just our general well-being. When that controller starts to struggle, the consequences can be pretty serious. In fact, executive dysfunction is a core feature of so many different conditions. For ADHD, it's a fundamental challenge with inhibition and focus. With addiction, the stimulus control of a substance can completely hijack the cognitive control. This system is also impacted in depression, autism, and in cases of brain injury, like the famous story of Phineas Gage, whose entire personality changed after his prefrontal cortex was damaged.
And this impact doesn't stop, it continues across our entire lives. And this quote, wow, it really drives the point home. It's saying that more than just memory loss, the decline of our executive functions is the single best way to predict if an older person will be able to continue living independently. It is that critical. But, and this is so important, let's end on a really hopeful and empowering note. Your executive functions are not set in stone. The research on this is crystal clear. These skills can be improved. It doesn't matter your age, from childhood all the way to late adulthood. Things like targeted training, exercise, and mindfulness can genuinely strengthen your inner controller. So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Knowing all this, knowing that this powerful system is trainable, that you can actually become a better pilot of your own mind, what's the first training exercise you're going to schedule for yourself?